It's your reputation on the line. So what do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender by Norton is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. 800-401-6681.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We are getting closer and closer to kicking off the 2022 college football season. What do you mean? We kicked it off last weekend, week 0. Stop it. For real, the real portion of the college football season kicks off coming up this Saturday, including the Ohio State Buckeyes. The biggest matchup of week 1 features the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You could, of course, catch that right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio and our sister station, 92.9 Jack FM. But a big game on Saturday. We're finally building closer and closer to that, Kev.
What up, though?
Yes, here, move that, by the way, just a little. There you go. There you go. Now we're off and rolling. We got Bobby Carpenter, former Buckeye.
Nice. I got a lot of questions for him.
We all have a lot of questions for him. And I think a lot of those questions are going to stem on the defensive side. We're hearing a lot of buzzwords from Ryan Day and Jim Knowles, and that we're tougher. We're going to, we're going to hit harder. We're going to get to the ball. That's all fine. Those are words. We heard those same words last year about how each week we're getting better and better defensively, and each week it seemed they were getting worse and worse defensively. On a scale of 1 to 10, just because they got a new defensive coordinator, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much more confident are you that the Buckeyes' defensive woes are woes of the past?
I'm at a 7. I think that defense
confident.
Yes, I think defense can be fixed a lot easier than offense. Offense is really about talent. Defense is really about effort. Some of the effort that was given by the Buckeyes defense was lackluster. We know how highly touted a lot of these guys are coming out of high school, but one 5-star doesn't equal the same 5-star, if you know what I mean. Like, just because you're a 5-star doesn't mean you're going to be Chase Young or Joey Bosa or anything like that. So there's levels to 5-stars, but just effort and just doing simple things like tackling, and that can be fixed relatively easily. And, nothing gets people more motivated than seeing the people that recruited you get fired. Because guess what? After they get rid of the coaches, guess who else is next? The players. And we saw a lot of guys that were starters on last year's defense hit the transfer portal. So those conversations were probably had with those young men saying, hey, yeah, you don't have a spot here with the Buckeyes because you're not up to caliber. So I think the defense will be fixed this year. Not saying it's going to be silver bullets defense, but just say, I don't know, I'm just throwing a number out here. Just say if they were like the 70th ranked defense last year, if they're in the 30s, I would say that's a great season. I'd say that was a good fix.
And again, if you're just joining us, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Ohio State Notre Dame kickoff coming up this Saturday night, 7:30. The kickoff, 6:00 coverage begins. Which, by the way, if you want to, I don't think we've done a show together out and about. We have not been doing a show out and about together, have we? So for the first time, Kev Nash and I would take the show on the road, kind of, as we're going to be getting you set for Ohio State Notre Dame live from the new Submarine House in Kettering, 9:30 East Dorothy Lane. So make sure you come hang out with us coming up Saturday night, starting at 6:00. Kev Nash and I will be going live throughout the pregame show with Paul Keel, Skip Mossick, and the gang, again getting you set for Ohio State Notre Dame Dame, and we're excited about that. We got some prizes we'll be giving away. We'll be getting your score predictions. Some of you all will be coming on the air with us to give your score predictions on 1410 Wing AM and on 92.9 Jack FM, of course, and you'll have an opportunity potentially for you golf lovers out there. Come on out. Register for a chance for you and a friend to potentially win a golf outing with myself and Keith Byers. Yes, I'm sorry you do. I'm included in it, but you get to golf with Keith Byers, so that's pretty cool. But yes, you'll have a chance to come golf with Keith Byers and myself. So we're looking forward to that again. But you have to come out and register for a chance to win. It's free to register. The only thing it'll cost you is a few seconds of your time. So come on out, enjoy the great food, and enjoy the great drinks, and enjoy the great atmosphere. If you can't be at the shoe, I recommend that Submarine House in Kettering is where you spend the night watching the game, cheering on the Buckeyes over Notre Dame. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you said 7. That's how confident you are in Jim Knowles' ability to fix this Buckeye defense right off the bat. Let's flip it over to an angle on the Notre Dame side, because you look at Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman already 0-1 as a head coach. Was that the right thing to do to take over the team for Brian Kelly in the bowl game last year?
Absolutely.
Most coaches don't. I'm not saying it.
I think it was just different because he was already on the staff. Like, it would be weird. Like, yeah, I'll take over at the beginning of next season. I'll still call defensive plays. Hey, you guy that's going to be leaving with Brian Kelly, you be the head coach, and then I'll come step right in. I think it was a motivational thing. I thought that it was basically him saying, yes, I'm here. I'm all in from the word go. So I had no problem with that.
Real quick, Billy Wright messages in on the question about on a confidence scale of 1 to 10. You said 7. Billy Wright says 3. Until I see it, the embarrassing memory of Michigan and Oregon running down our throats still gives me nightmares. So there's a little that, cautiously optimistic when it comes to the Buckeye defense. I'm hoping Billy's wrong and Kev's right, because I don't want to have that thought in the back of my head all season of because Buckeye, the critics out there will label Ohio State as that. It's going to be an Oklahoma thing. Everything that we have said about Oklahoma over the years. Oh yeah, that's fine. They have Baker Mayfield. They have no defense. Oh, that's fine. They have Kyler Murray, but they got no defense. Oh, that's fine. They got next quarter. Oh, Jalen Hurts, that's super, but they have no defense. So eventually it's just one of those things where it doesn't matter how many great wide receivers we have. It doesn't matter how dominant our quarterback is. We've seen that movie before, and that movie was Oklahoma. That movie was Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma in the Big 12. We do not. We are relying on a Big 12 defensive coordinator to keep us from looking like being perceived as a Big 12 team. I never thought we would get to that point, Kev.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at. So that's what makes this game important right off the bat. One game is not an indictment of who you are all season.
Right.
But again, it's what have you done for me lately? And the last time we saw Ohio State, they had a quarterback. If you look at the total yards that CJ Stroud threw against Michigan and Utah, he threw for almost 1,000 yards. And they almost went 0-2 in both of those games. They could have easily lost that game to Utah.
Absolutely.
Good for them edging out Utah, but it took almost 400 plus yards of total passing yards for CJ Stroud to lead Ohio State past Utah. And the defense was just getting picked apart. They got picked apart by Michigan's run game as far as that goes. Utah more balanced as far as that goes. But nonetheless, I'm kind of with Billy. It's like what have you done for me lately? What if week 1? I still think Ohio State can get a win, even if the defense is a little dicey, because I think Ohio State's just too explosive, even for a Notre Dame. If Notre Dame comes out and puts points up on the board, it's just going to be one of those things where the season's not over if the defense doesn't look fixed in game 1. But, man, it's going to lead to a lot of convincing. The Buckeyes will have to work even harder defensively. Because outside of Notre Dame, Kev, when's that next opponent that Ohio State will have a chance to convince critics that, we're not that bad defensively.
Right.
Look, Big Ten, they don't have a lot of threatening teams on the offensive side of the ball. The most threatening team outside of Michigan that Ohio State played in the Big Ten last year was Michigan State, and all we heard about was how Walker was going to run all over Ohio State. Ohio State jumped out to such a big lead early that Michigan State couldn't rely on the run game with Walker, so he never really became a factor in that.
He was not a factor.
And he was not a factor at all.
I think he had like 5 carries that game because, to their credit, it was like, well, there's no need to play him because we're down 28-0. And why would we get him banged all up for nothing? So yeah, but yeah, you're right. It's a lot out there, and I say this to everybody all the time, man. You talked about it earlier. One game doesn't dictate a season, and you are allowed to get better. Think back to the year Ohio State won the national championship. Go look at that game versus Virginia Tech, and that game did we ever think that team was going to win the national championship based off of that offensive performance? They turned it around. They got better and better throughout the season. They had that big showdown against Michigan State where JT Barrett was dropping dimes all over the place. And then obviously they went on to beat Wisconsin, beat Bama, and beat Oregon as well. So teams can get better. I'm expecting this defense to get better throughout the season as they get more reps in this new defense.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Ohio State, Notre Dame coming up on Saturday. 518-1410. The biggest concern, Buckeyes, you have about Ohio State heading into this matchup with Notre Dame is what? For me, the offense, there's not an opponent all season that I'm worried about the Buckeyes offense. I don't think there's a defense on the schedule, or is there a defense in the country that I'm going to be like, oh, man, they're going to stop C.J. Stroud? I don't think there's a defense out there that could stop this offense. But I do think that this defense, until proven otherwise, is always going to be considered the liability of this team. And I don't think that Jim Knowles is going to turn them into just a powerhouse defense in year one. But they need to take a couple steps forward, and they have to do it quickly with just one offseason under Knowles if they really want to kind of silence some of the critics out there. Look, Ohio State's still the number 2 team in the country. It's going to take a lot for them to surpass Alabama, unless Alabama, loses to Texas in their early season matchup with them. But bottom line is, you're playing the long game, not the short game. Ohio State's not trying to beat Notre Dame to become the number 1 team in the country right now. They're trying to win on Saturday and improve each week, so they could be the number 1 team at the end of the season. That's all that matters. 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. McLean, what up, McLean? He goes, I think it's 20 points, not including any garbage time that Notre Dame scores. I can't remember the last time Notre Dame holding a legit offense, not known for great defense.
One more time.
I think it's 20 points, not including any garbage time Notre Dame scores. McLean,
Okay,
what is that?
okay.
Is that in reference to what you were talking about with the points given up? Or okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I asked to repeat it. Yeah. I just think we sometimes look at football and think all right, this team shouldn't score more than 13 points on us. The game of football is totally different, man. You can give up 20 to 28 points and still have a good defensive performance. It's just so high flying and it's so wide open, especially in the college game where the hash marks are all wide open. It's not like the NFL where you're playing in a phone booth. This game is spread wide out. So if they do give up 28 points, so if the score is 52 to 28, are we going to be upset? That would be my question. I think it's really all about how. If, they go through the defense like a hot knife on butter, then okay, we can talk. But like you said, if it's some garbage touchdowns, to say it's a pick 6 by Notre Dame, those are points still, but box score watchers will be like, man, they gave up 28 points to Notre Dame. So I think we just have to watch the game to see how they perform. If they're missing a ton of tackles and everything like that, then I think that's signs for, all right, we need some more new players in there, or that's signs of concern for me.
Former Buckeye Bobby Carpenter joins us 13 minutes from now. We'll get his take as far as what to expect, him being a former great Buckeye defense, or a former defensive Buckeye great, of course. We'll get his take on it. How about this concern from Billy Wright? He says, I get it's before that. He weighed in, of course, on the defense. He goes, I'm still unsure of a base a 425 nickel working in the Big Ten. This is one of those things that's tough. It's because you base your schemes off of your conference opponents, or base your schemes off of what you got to do to win it all. This goes back to the big argument about recruiting back in the day. Do you recruit to win your conference, or do you recruit to win a national championship? If you're just content with recruiting the players that are going to help you win the Big Ten, and then you get to the championship game where you're getting destroyed by LSU and you're getting destroyed by Florida, then all of a sudden you start questioning, okay, what do we got to do to take this to that next level? Now the defense, I get what Billy's trying to say is this going to work? I heard Ryan Day talk about this in the season preview show about basically having 5 guys in the secondary. I mean, he's basically playing with 3, adding an extra safety is basically what you're doing, right? You're vulnerable against the run in that case, I feel like, because you're leaving more of the middle of the field open. I mean, it's kind of like the shift in baseball. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not, but it is. My point is, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to one point of attack to strengthen the other area of attack, the more common area of attack. The most common area of attack in college that you're trying to take away is the pass game. This is going to help take away that pass game, but you're going to leave yourself vulnerable in the run. Baseball, the shift, you're taking, of course, the strong side of the field away, but you're leaving yourself vulnerable if a guy can never pull it down the damn third base line if they do it that way. So I get what Billy's concern is too. That's fine that, you want to have guys back, but against Notre Dame, is that going to be necessary? Is that going to be necessary against the majority of the Big Ten that's not known for these high-powered spread offenses? So I do understand Billy's concern there.
I'm not concerned about the scheme because this is the exact same scheme that they ran in 2018. The difference is they don't have Chase Young. They don't have Jeff Okuda. They don't have Jordan Fuller. They don't have Sean Wade playing in the slot. Like, that's the exact same defense that they're going to be running this upcoming season. They had 2 linebackers on the field with Barron Browning and those type of guys. My thing is the biggest difference between last year's and this year's defense is what I'm reading on the boards is they're going to be far more aggressive. It's not going to just basically relying on getting pressure to the quarterback with the front 4. They're going to be bringing linebackers. They're going to be bringing safeties. They're going to be bringing corner blitzes to make things speed up for the quarterback. So I'm not necessarily concerned about the base scheme. I'm more concerned about, like, all right, what are we doing different from last year to put pressure on the quarterback? Because pressure on the quarterback makes everybody else look better. It makes your linebackers look better. Dang sure it makes your DBs look better because, oh, man, I'm not chasing a wide receiver for 5 seconds. Nobody can guard anybody for 5 seconds. If you're not getting pressure with your front 4 or your blitzers, then you're going to get picked apart no matter how good you are. Trust me, if Deion Sanders and Charles Woodson were back there playing coverage for 5 seconds, they're going to, quote unquote, get burnt too. It just works out that way. So get pressure on the quarterback, take away the run, and then let your athletic DBs, make plays on the ball.
Because this style of defense, I understand why it works in the Big 12. High-powered offenses all over the place. It's just full. It's a conference. And look, and I think that perception is changing slightly. The defense in the Big 12 has definitely picked up over the last couple. Oklahoma's improved defensively since
Oklahoma State and Baylor official on defense.
That shellacking that Joe Burrow and LSU put on Oklahoma really changed how teams were starting to approach defensively because they were just getting, it was embarrassing. But, you look at Baylor and some of the others, they've improved, obviously. But the point is that defense is set up specifically for the high-powered, the spread offenses that are in the Big 12. Those aren't common in the Big 10. It's more of a power run. Maybe that's an overused perception of the Big 10 as well, because even some of those offenses are starting to change a little bit, or at least, except for Michigan, at least even trying to mix in some new schemes, of course. But nonetheless, I get the worry there. And look, we're going to find out. Bottom line is this: if this was a conversation in mid-June and July, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Now that we're just a couple days out from the season kicking off, I'm excited to see exactly what we have right off the bat. Now, this comes in from Keith Tolliver. Tolliver says, I feel that the Buckeye fans won't really know until like October. Teams play better at home, and OSU doesn't play on the road until mid-October, I believe. Look, they play at Penn State this year.
Yes,
they're not doing the whiteout game. I don't know if that signifies that it's not a night game. Because I don't think a time's been established
no time
for that
yet.
But nonetheless, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. But I understand what he's saying at the same time. But I think we're going to see it right off the bat. Home game, away game, big game versus Notre Dame, week 2 against Arkansas State. Well, I think we're going to be able to tell right off the bat. Who was it last year? The American Conference, was it Tulane or Tulsa?
Both of them. I can't remember.
It was in week 2. That remember Ohio State it was a 1-possession game.
Yeah.
In either the late in the third quarter or the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they got like a pick 6 late in the game. Yeah,
I was in Florida last year while that game was going on, and we're all drinking around the pool. And I thought for sure, I was like, well, man, I must not have eaten today because this is on my second beer, and I'm feeling kind of loose right now. That score can't be right? Nope. And sure enough, it was Ohio State won by 3 possessions, and you would have thought that the season was over. That's how bad last season was defensively. They couldn't even put away opponents like that. So as weird as it sounds, an Arkansas State game, we're going to learn about the Buckeyes against an Arkansas State. As stupid and weird as that sounds, we're going to know right off the bat because even bad teams, remember Akron last year? That was a game under the lights for whatever reason. I remember being at the Shoe last year for that game against Akron and looking up at the, deep into the first quarter, and Akron's up 7-0. Akron came right down the field and scored. It was just like, that's not Ohio State football. Now, Ohio State pummeled them the rest of the way, but the point is it just showed the vulnerability of that defense that even an Akron can come down the field and punch them in the mouth. And I think so I see what Keith's saying, but I think that we're going to tell right off the bat 2 weeks into the season whether this defense is taking steps forward. They're not shutting anyone out. but it's just going to be one of those where, like you said, it's going to be, you can't just look at a box score and determine the points given up. It's going to be how easily does the opponent move the ball, 3 and outs. It's going to be, it should be very, very difficult. It was not difficult for teams last year. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. And another thing is, like, you would imagine when you play teams like a Michigan or a Wisconsin or a Iowa, you're not going to be running out there with another 180-pound cornerback. I hope that Coach Knowles is smart enough to put a additional linebacker on the field. Like, so I just think, like, we look at it and say, man, he's playing a 4-2-5. Come on, man, that's not how we do it in the Big Ten. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows, like, oh man, they got 3 tight ends on the field. Let me take out this extra cornerback and put a big body in there. So let's breathe. Let's relax. Let's see what happens on Saturday. I believe the Buckeyes defense is going to come to play. I believe we're going to have some turnovers. You got to think also, they're also starting a first-time quarterback at Notre Dame. So he really played a little bit last year, but he's a runner. He's not a passer. So that's why I think they're harping on taking away the run so big, not only because of what Minnesota did to us, because we forget about that game too, because they ran all over us as well. Mm-hmm. Oregon, they ran all over us, and obviously Michigan ran all over us as well. So we look at those games, that's why they're stressing take away the run, because that was really the killer last year. Like, people could do whatever they want because they could run the ball at like 8 yards a clip. When you're running the ball like that, the whole playbook is open. The whole playbook is open. If you're running it, of course the secondary is going to suck up on a play action fake because they're trying to help out their teammates. Like, man, can't let them get this first down. Let me scream down there. Oh, tight end wide open right behind the secondary. So take away that run. That is number 1 and number 2, number 3, number 4. Take away that run.
All right, well, we'll pick up this conversation. We appreciate the interaction in the comment section, whether it's through Facebook or YouTube. But you've heard what we have to say. We've read kind of some of the things you've had to say, but let's hear from someone who's actually done it, shall we? We'll be joined by former Ohio State Buckeye Bobby Carpenter. He joins us next. We'll get his thoughts as he weighs in on this Ohio State Notre Dame matchup, as well as some of the other top games in college football as it officially kicks off this weekend. Bobby Carpenter joins us next.
Oh, yeah.
H? No, I didn't know what you were doing.
No, you're good.
Oh, boy.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. Only my Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. The result? 28 minutes more restful sleep a night. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Labor Day. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk. I would sleep upright with more pillows. But that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just 1 pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
1 pill, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Are you struggling to pay your mortgage, utility bills, or property taxes because you've been financially impacted by the pandemic? The Ohio Housing Finance Agency's Save the Dream Ohio program may be able to help. Save the Dream Ohio helps eligible Ohio homeowners financially impacted by the pandemic pay their mortgage, utility bills, or other housing-related costs. To learn more, visit savethedream.ohiohome.org. That's savethedream.ohiohome.org. Or call 888-404-4674. Sponsored by the
And closer to kicking off the 2022.
Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Secondary. You're gonna suck up on a play action fake because they're trying to help out.
A few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
It's bedtime at the home of SiriusXM, but Conan O'Brien is still awake.
Turns out you don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen to the app anywhere, in your room, by the pool. At the
and Brad Paisley just really needs his beauty sleep.
Conan, I just really need my beauty sleep. Maybe really expensive boat like a yacht.
The waves could rock you gently to sleep.
Don't encourage him, guy.
Sorry. Night-night. Everything you want to hear lives here on SiriusXM. Get the SiriusXM app now.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Week 3 high school football action coming up, of course, and we're spending a lot of time on college football today, rightfully so, of course. But high school football action on Friday night, our ESPN Dayton high school football game of the week. Keith Byers returns to the broadcast booth with me, of course, and we'll be bringing you the Wayne Warriors and Pickerton Central. So that's a good one here. One of the top matchups, if not the top matchup in the Miami Valley, coming up on Friday night, 7 o'clock to kick off. That's when coverage begins right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. And then on Saturday, we shift gears and we turn our attention towards the Ohio State Buckeyes. They kick off the 2022 season, of course, Kev, against Notre Dame. And Kev Nash and I will be live at Submarine House in Kettering starting at 6 o'clock. Him and I will be going live throughout the pregame, getting you set for Ohio State and Notre Dame. A lot of prizes will be given away, including an opportunity for you and a friend to potentially win an outing with myself, a golf outing with myself and Keith Byers. So make sure you take advantage of that opportunity by coming out, hanging out with us. We got tickets to a lot of events, Reds tickets, WWE is going to be in town coming up. We got tickets there. Did find out we got a pair of Buckeye tickets as well. So that's pretty exciting against Arkansas State. So come on out and see us this Saturday at Submarine House in Kettering. All right, Ohio State and Notre Dame. We've talked a lot here to open up the show about expectations for what to see on Saturday. I think we're all really intrigued, yes, to see what this offense is going to look like with in year 2 for CJ Stroud. But I think all the question mark, look, we know that CJ Stroud is why we are going to have a chance, if not the chance, to win the national championship. But that one part of the game that we're worried about as far as keeping us from winning that national championship, it's on the defensive side. And joining us now to weigh in on what to expect from the Buckeyes on both sides of the ball, former Ohio State Buckeye Bobby Carpenter. Bobby, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Justin, thanks for having me, sir.
Absolutely. Look, we're just going to get right to it because you know what? We know CJ Stroud, he's all right. Travion Henderson, he's not bad. And Jigba, he's pretty good. I mean, Marvin Harrison, not bad. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. That's where your expertise lies, Bobby. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Jim Knowles has this defense where it needs to be now heading into the 2022 season?
Without ever watching, the team play anyone other than their offense heading in, which is tough because, as good as this offense is, you're still playing the same guys each and every day. I'd probably give them about an 8. I mean, I don't know if I can get any further than that, given just the fact they haven't played a game yet. But what I've seen in training camp, what I've watched in the scrimmages they've had, and these guys are good. They're very talented. I mean, that's never been a question. Is the talent is just the playing experience, and then schematically, are they being put in the best position? And so I think now, after watching this, these guys grow for a year, and it was a painful year last year, getting better as individual players, but now probably having a little better scheme fit, having more confidence, another year in the weight room, which has been big for these guys as well, because a lot of the juniors, third and fourth year players, they came in, maybe had one normal season or came in right during COVID. It stunted their growth, and they weren't able to get the games in. They only played 6 a couple of years ago. They didn't have a spring ball, and it sounds minor, but like training with your team in the off season, having a chance to just get those reps, like those things matter a ton. And so, another season under their belts, guys practicing, being together, I feel like that's made a huge difference for this team.
Bobby, that's a great point you said, without seeing this defense go up against anyone other than, I guess, themselves, whether it be practice or the spring game. It's, we're just kind of going off of what our gut is telling us at this point. But think back to a year ago at this time, coaches are never going to come out and say, man, our defense is not very good right now. But a year ago at this time, I'm sure the staff had an idea that the defense was going to be pretty rough. But thinking back to the conversations you had with the coaches and people within the program last year compared to the conversations you're having now, this team seems and sounds more confident than they were a year ago on the defensive side of the ball, correct? Or are they just talking us into it?
No, well, there are guys that will just simply try to talk you into it. But, Ryan Day is an offensive coach. Offensive coaches love to see the offense win. However, you want to ultimately see your team win on Saturdays. And so, watching them this year, I know it's tough. It's frustrating. Kevin Wilson's commented on it. Ryan Day's commented on it. You've heard a lot of the Ohio State players comment on it. Jackson Smith and Jigba was very pointed about what he said, just on how much better this defense is. And, going against a top flight offense like this, it's good to see the defense win some, because if they're going against an offense, I think everybody acknowledges is one of the better ones in college football. If that's the case, then you know what? You can slow them down. You can probably slow down just about anybody. And, a lot of it, Ryan has talked a ton about, callousing this team. Last year they weren't great against stopping the run, and they really weren't good running the football when they needed to get a yard. And there were times where you need to get a yard and they couldn't get one. So that toughness element, that's something that they worked really hard during training camp to develop.
Bobby, I tried to calm down some of our listeners because they're so worried about what the scheme's going to be, what's going to happen. What have you saw from the guys that makes people believe that this defense will be different from last year?
I watched guys, come in and play, at a high level. I mean, they've got JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer on the edge. They've been really good players. They've done a really good job. Tommy Eichenberg, Steele Chambers, 2 of their linebackers have been absolutely tremendous. They've done a fantastic job, and that's something that last year you saw. They couldn't really stop the run. Up front, they weren't great, and having Josh Proctor back in the secondary helps a ton. And they've done a great job developing corners, and you're going to see them roll through probably 3 or 4 corners that, in my opinion, are all high-quality NFL players.
So you're talking about this defense, but the other side of the ball, obviously the offense. The offensive line has been going through some changes as well. Last year, everybody was talking about the fact that they're starting a bunch of tackles and everything like that. They've done some tweaking to the offensive line. Obviously, guys are going off to the NFL, got new recruits in there and everything like that. Is that offensive line going to be giving those guys that extra push that we needed to get those short yardage?
I think so. Moving some guys around. Juwan Jones is still playing right tackle, but you kick Paris Johnson outside to tackle, which is more natural position. They still got Whippler in the middle playing center. They slide in a couple of guys, and Jackson the field. You feel Donovan Jackson that are more fitted for guards. Last year they almost had 4 tackles playing out there, which seems great, but there's a little bit different of a skill set for some of the guards, and it wasn't quite an ideal situation. They were trying to get their 5 best out there. And then one other thing not to be underestimated, Cade Stover flipping over to play tight end again this year. He's moved a ton in his career. Dude's worked tirelessly. He's a much better athlete than I think people realize. And even myself, watching him run routes, he's going to be a passing threat. But he brings an attitude and an edge to that offensive line, being a tight end, blocking, and just being a former defensive player. It's a different mentality, and I think that is going to kind of permeate that offensive line, some of those short yardage or what you call gotta have it situations where they have to go get a yard or two and everybody knows it.
Former Buckeye Bobby Carpenter with us here on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Bobby, it's interesting because obviously all the work you do in media now, and you being a former player, you've seen how both systems operate, on how athletes operate and how the media operates. Marcus Freeman being a former Buckeye, of course, now leading Notre Dame. I love that storyline element to it, but a couple things he said throughout the offseason that somehow created buzz, and, many people were taking what he said and trying to use it as smack talk between the programs. You being familiar with how both sides operate, one being a former athlete and on the other side being in the media now, were you surprised that some of the things he said caught attention the way they did? And do you believe they were blown out of proportion?
I think some of the stuff, number one, the Dennis Dodd article, we got everybody fired up talking about, going to class and Notre Dame. And he actually came on my radio show in Columbus, texted me that morning. He's like, "Can I come on here?" Things we're taking, taken out of context that were left off the front and the end of that qualified it a little bit more than what I think it was seen up there. But Marcus is trying to sell his program. Now I understand that. All former players understand that. That doesn't make him any less of a Buckeye when he was here. But him and James Laurinaitis are up there. They're trying to win, trying to sell what their program has to offer, and they've got a lot. But it's his first time as a head coach. He's a Dayton guy, and I don't think he regrets any of his time at Ohio State. He had a ton of success while he was here as a player. And with that, I think it's a tough situation for your opening job. First job as a head coach to be at Notre Dame, and then the first place you're playing in your first full season to be at your alma mater, to place like Ohio State. So it's almost a no-win situation for him, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, especially when you lost that bowl game last year, and now, and look, I'm not being too aggressive here, but I'm obviously picking Ohio State to win on Saturday, but a potential 0-2 start to leading Notre Dame. I'm not, I know he's loving this build to this Ohio State Notre Dame matchup, but I feel like he's kind of excited to also get past this matchup and just start kind of building towards regular matchups to really start establishing who he and his program are moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that happens once every 25 years. The last time Ohio State did this was John Cooper and Lou Holtz on the sideline. For heaven's sake, I mean, it's not something that happens very regularly, to say the least. And so, yeah, they've got their normal opponents, their normal foes. I would anticipate Notre Dame is probably a 9, probably 10-win team this year. And so it's not to besmirch them and how good they can potentially be, but you just ultimately look at this, and it's a really tough matchup drawing the second best team in the country for your season opener on the road at night, your alma mater. It's the 100-year anniversary of the shoe and the 28th-year anniversary of the 2002 national championship team, of which he didn't play on, but played with a lot of guys and played for the coach who will be down there on Saturday. So there's going to be a lot of emotion that he's going to have to overcome while he's trying to get his team ready to go.
Bobby, it's got to feel good just to talk football, not talk about conference realignment, not talk about NIL, not talk about this coach leaving to go this place and everything like that. How good does it feel just to be simply talking football?
Yeah, I mean, we're finally here, and we got a little taste of it last week. Appetizer with some week 0 games, which are always fun. It gives you a little insight into the week, and then obviously, NFL is going to be here too. But it's awesome just to have football back. Back on a big scale, going to kind of into the first fully normal season, kind of coming out of COVID. It's exciting. I can't wait for it. It's one of my favorite times, and the Buckeyes have 8 home games this year, an awesome home slate. So it's pretty fantastic to see.
Bobby, last thing, I know we got to let you go. Appreciate you taking time and helping us preview this Ohio State Notre Dame matchup on Saturday. Obviously, that's the matchup of the weekend. Another good one coming up, of course, Oregon and Georgia. What are some other matchups you have your eye on this coming up weekend?
Oregon and Georgia's one, obviously, that a lot of people are looking at, but kind of a sneaky team, sneaky matchup that a lot of people probably aren't looking at, just because Florida isn't quite as good this year, is Utah traveling to the Swamp. I mean, that's obviously a huge opportunity there for Utah to come in and get a win. Now, albeit Florida isn't, Florida of what we've been known to expect, and they're not a top 10 team, but if you're Utah, that's something that's going to go down for you as a nice win if you're able to win the Pac-12 this year, which a lot of people expect they will. You're able to have, build on that momentum from last year. Even though you lost to Ohio State, they played really well in that Rose Bowl, and a lot of people are now expecting them to be a quality team. So that, I think, could be a big game down in the Swamp early on. If they can go down there and get a win, could really set themselves up for a nice season. And then obviously, gentlemen, I mean, you've got Cincinnati at Arkansas, and I know that's going to be an exciting game. This will be Fick's third chance in 3 years to be able to take down an SEC foe. And albeit, Arkansas is not quite Alabama, they're not quite Georgia. It is a true road game, and it's one that they're going to have to go play well. They've turned over a lot of their roster, and they're playing an Arkansas team in Fayetteville that's, maybe the third or fourth best team in the SEC. So if Fick can go there and get a dub, I mean, that would be awesome for them. And I'm really pulling for them and hope they can do it.
Talk about Utah potentially winning the Pac-12. Is the Pac-12 getting a college football playoff representative this year? On the way out, your 4 playoff teams as we sit here before the season kicks off this weekend are who?
Oh, my gosh, you're going to put me to that already. I'm going to throw Ohio State and Bama in there, immediately. I think they're obviously the 2 front runners. I have a tendency to think Georgia will get in. The SEC is strong. Georgia's offense probably isn't, probably not fantastic. Their defense will be really good. Maybe not as good as they were last year, but if they're a one-loss SEC team, I don't see how they don't get in. They lose 2, maybe not, but I would lean with Georgia. I think Clemson's kind of the easy team to pick, but I mean, I honestly think this might be the year that Utah gets in. Maybe a Utah or a Baylor. Baylor played really well last year. I think a lot of people have respect for them, but I'll go out west. If Utah can beat Florida, they would have a nice SEC victory on the road in hand. They can win the Pac-12. I think that would line up pretty well to put a Pac-12 team in for the first time in a number of years.
All right, good stuff. Former Buckeye Bobby Carpenter. Bobby, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend.
Hey, thanks, gentlemen. Anytime.
All right, Bobby Carpenter, good stuff there. If you missed that, we'll have that up on our ESPN Dayton YouTube channel coming up immediately following the show.
You ain't tell Bobby you're national champion.
I'm not trying to.
I could have threw you under the bus, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do my dude like that.
There are perks to having a show no one listens to. I can say whatever I want and never get challenged. All right, folks, we'll be right back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-509-3124. That's 800-509-3124. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-509-3124 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
It's time again for A. Brown & Sons Nursery's annual stock reduction auction of high-quality nursery stock. Save hundreds to thousands of dollars. The auction starts promptly at 7:19 a.m. on Saturday, September 10th. If you don't have time to come out in the morning, come out in the afternoon. 3 auction rings run all day long. Brown's has shade trees, shrubs, evergreens, ornamentals, and perennials up for auction. Tell your friends and neighbors. Brown's Nursery is located just a half-mile north of Phillipsburg, Ohio, on State Route 49, just 4 miles north of I-70, exit 24. Make plans now to fill your entire landscaping needs at huge savings that can't be matched anywhere else. Visit brownsnursery.com and click on the auction link at the top of the homepage for all the details. Plan to attend the annual stock reduction auction at Brown's Nursery promptly at 7:19 a.m. on Saturday, September 10th. Rain or shine, delivery will be available. Details online at brownsnursery.com.
Need to hire? Find great people fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Beyond Vision Art, presented by Storm Falcon Studios, is seeking multi-sensory artists to exhibit in our autumn show October 14th and 15th in the Landing Events. September 1st, but enter early to save your space. Visit BeyondVisionArt.com to submit your work or to learn more about our mission. That's BeyondVisionArt.com, bringing art out of the darkness.
The NFL season is right around the corner, and with the season about to kick off, you can get in on all the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. To celebrate the best time of year, DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at a $1 million top prize during Week 1. If you haven't tried DraftKings yet, now is the time. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Nothing adds to the excitement of watching the game quite like having a free shot at a huge cash prize. And while you're perfecting your daily fantasy skills, don't forget to check out DraftKings free play pools, where there's even more cash up for grabs. Head to the app now. Download the DraftKings app now and use code WING1410. For a limited time, new customers get a free shot at a $1 million top prize during Week 1. Enter code WING1410 only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is excited to announce their new delicious spicy bourbon chicken sandwich is here. It's the best of both worlds. They're spicy bourbon dippers that you love, brought into a sandwich you'll crave. It's made with their famous spicy chicken sandwich, smothered in their special bourbon barbecue sauce, dripping with flavor on a brioche bun. Enjoy it in a combo with your favorite side and a drink, priced just right at only $6.99, and only available at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken Miami Valley locations. Lee's, famous for spicy bourbon chicken.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy inherited properties, vacant homes, rentals, commercial properties, and apartment buildings. Give us a call today and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
At McAfee, they're more than just an air temperature company. They're an air quality company. Breathe easy. Choose McAfee.
Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because our Sleep Number 360 smart bed is really smart. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to help keep you both comfortable. Plus, it's temperature balancing so you stay cool. It's even smart enough to know exactly how long, how well, and when you slept. Our smart sleepers get 28 minutes more restful sleep per night. Sleep Number takes care of the science. All you have to do is sleep. Don't miss our Labor Day weekend special where all smart beds are on sale. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Labor Day. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Can anyone explain to us what zombie deer are by any chance? What is zombie deer?
I don't
what
know.
Are zombie deer?
I'm reading the article right now. People have spotted zombie deer in 13 counties in Ohio.
We used to do a segment on the show called our top non-sports headline of the day. I think that might be it right there.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
How about this one? This is a local story. Central Ohio man sentenced to prison for robbing one Dayton store 5 times.
The same store?
The same store 5 times.
Must be close to his house.
This is an article from Dayton 24/7 now. Central Ohio man sentenced to 100 months in prison for robbing the Salem Avenue Dollar General 5 times. I mean, not 1, not 2, not 3. You rob it 5 times? And it took 5 times before you finally got put behind bars for 100 months? What does that mean? I mean, just so what is that? 20 months? So you can go rob a Dollar General and they get you 20 months. You do it 2 times, it's 40 months. 3 times. I mean, I'm just saying, if my math serves me correctly, it's just that right state math.
WWSU.
So there's that.
Remember the raccoons at Wright State? You never stayed on campus, though.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Nope. I stayed on those really, 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 really overpriced apartments that I'm not allowed to drop the name of, but every single word. Don't live there. It's too expensive.
Does it start with a C?
It's on that road.
Does that road begin with a Z?
It's on that road. Yes. But they have a pool. Yeah.
Okay.
There's one that has a pool that's a little cheaper, just not even walking distance down the road. Yeah, but that's where all the cool people are. I'm not cool and I'm not rich, and I found out very quick.
Goodness gracious.
There's that. But
You
nonetheless,
said I'm not allowed to mention. That's funny.
I mean, I don't know what the rules are. I have a habit of breaking the rules, so I don't know the rules, so I'm not going to get in trouble for trying to break them.
Guess where Kenner lived? Hit us up.
So Brian Staley on Facebook reaches out, Kev. Let me make sure everyone, for those watching live on Facebook and YouTube, can see it. Outside of probably the best tight end in college football, this game doesn't seem much of a test to see how good the Buckeyes defense will be this season. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Brian, aren't you I think Brian's a Notre Dame fan. I could be wrong unless I'm thinking of another listener, but I kind of understand what he's trying to say. But this is, as far as a roster with the most stacked talent, this is probably the best team they're going to face until Michigan at the end of the year. And I might be being generous to Michigan, to be honest with you. Is this the most talented roster that they're going to play this season until the playoff?
Let's see. Let's take a look.
And I don't know what that means about their schedule and non-con, and what that means about the Big Ten, but I do understand what Brian's trying to say as far as that's concerned.
Notre Dame, Arkansas State, Toledo, Wisconsin, Rutgers, Michigan State, Iowa, Penn State, Northwestern, Indiana, Maryland, team up north.
So Caleb Wintro, he says Notre Dame will be able to run the ball with ease with that O-line. Should be a close game, 31-24 Ohio State. All right, Caleb. Good. Finally, this is the first time I think we've had a listener say that this game will be close. This is a blowout in the eyes and minds of pretty much everyone, except, I think, what did you say?
We don't cover. The line is, what we talked about on Monday, 17.5. I don't think
saying
we
it's still a 17-point. You say
about 16, 17 points.
So Caleb, he says that Notre Dame will be able to run the ball with these. Now, Caleb, if you're basing that off, and this is where I understand where Caleb's coming from, because we're all drinking the Kool-Aid. This is why I asked Bobby Carpenter, who was just on with us a year ago at this time, right? And let's be clear. We don't know if they're better defensively. You could throw out all the buzzwords you want. We're tougher. If you go talk to a 7th grade coach right now, hey, coach, you guys getting better from week 1 to now? Yeah, I think we're getting a lot tougher. Yeah, that's the same. That's why I love when Buckeye fans do this. Ryan Day said they're tougher this year. What does that even mean? What does that mean? I don't even know what that. What? You don't want to. I need to know if they could tackle. I don't care if they're tough. What? So if they're tough, that means they scrape their elbow when they hit the ground on the missed tackle and they pop right back up. That's tough. No, I know. I want to know if they could tackle. I want to know if they can cover. You know what I mean? That's all I care about. So I understand Caleb's question or reasoning here. We don't. He's basing it off of what he saw last year, and a lot of us are concerned because of what we saw last year. But that's why I asked Bobby last year at this time. The coaches weren't coming out and telling us, "Yeah, we're going to be in trouble this year." They were using a lot of the same buzzwords. I mean, we got a tough team. This is a tough team. These guys are tough. They've been working hard. When you start hearing those phrases, that's not good. They're putting Band-Aids on things. I'm not saying that they're covering anything up, but at the same time, you think coaches are going to come out and say, nope, we've brought in Jim Knowles, and Jim Knowles has done nothing for us. All I'm saying is I kind of like the let's just wait and see approach. I'm not willing. I'm all over the place because I've predicted a big time blowout.
Yeah, you did.
Because of the Buckeye offense, but I don't think I think I am giving too much respect to Jim Knowles, and that sounds disrespectful. But this idea that a guy can come in and with all of those issues they had last year, and without any significant upgrades defensively, as far as personnel goes, it's a lot of the same personnel, a couple guys, freshmen, older now, that type of thing. But we are relying, our fandom is telling us that they're going to be better. We're hoping that they're going. The fan in us is not allowing us to say, maybe Jim Knowles isn't going to have us ready to roll by week 1 against Notre Dame. So you know what? I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But the point is I could be swayed so easily. I'm a flip-flopper every single time because every time I'm confident about a take, someone can convince me otherwise very quick. I wish I was as hard-headed as some where I'm just like, I'm going to stick to – am I hard-headed? I said a lot.
He brings up a good point about Michigan. I'm sorry, not Michigan, Notre Dame. I'm sorry. And their offensive line. Look, we know that Marcus Freeman is a former defensive player. What do most defensive head coaches love to do? Run the ball. That's what they love to do. And I think them making that move to have the quarterback, I'm sorry, I was drawing a blank on his name, Tyler Buckner, I think his name is. He's a dual threat guy. So you got him and Chris Tyree running a ton of zone read with that experienced offensive line. And the thing about it is, what is Notre Dame known for putting in the NFL? Offensive linemen. So you kind of take the ball out of Ohio State's hands. You go kind of like old school football, ground and pound, milk the clock a little bit, a la the 0-2 Ohio State Buckeyes offense and everything like that, to keep the ball away from high-power offenses, everything like that. It sounds like a great plan. It's probably the plan that they're going to go with. We're hopeful that Jim Knowles is able to fix the defense. And my biggest thing about it, they just got to be aggressive. They were not aggressive last year at all. They just kind of basically caught blocks and just fell into tackles. Like the running backs got to run into somebody. Oh, you got yourself a tackle. Well, it wasn't a tackle. You didn't go tackle him. He tackled himself by trying to run you over. I want to see the defense be aggressive. I want to see them firing off the ball to attack. Now, you're going to give up plays. Look, this is high-level college football. You're going to give up some plays and everything like that. My biggest thing about the defense is let's be aggressive. Let's attack. Let's not sit on our heels and wait for them to come to us. Let's go after them.
Here's one thing we have not thought about, too, because there is going to be an element of Notre Dame's offense that I don't think any other team is going to provide this look. And this is if Ohio State's defense struggles against Notre Dame this weekend, and then all of a sudden looks really, really good for the rest of the season, there's an element we're not talking enough about, and that's Buckner's ability to run the football.
Yeah.
He was a true freshman last year. He did get some quality snaps. He was second on Notre Dame's roster in rushing last year.
Yeah.
As a true freshman at quarterback.
and they had obviously Chris Tyree, Kyron Williams. I think he is with the Rams now. So, they had 2 good running backs last year.
So, again, I think he finished with like 336 rushing yards. He completed 60% of his passes last year. He threw for, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So that's the whole point. Like, he only threw in his limited snaps last year. He only threw for just a hair under 300 yards last year. But he rushed for over 336 yards. And he was second on the team in rushing. All I'm saying is if that's the element that he's going to bring to the table of, we're talking about, he doesn't have all these wide receivers. Well, he has arguably the best offensive line, or one of the best offensive lines in the country. And they have a methodical offense, and they're going to take advantage of his ability to run the football. I'm just saying, we're talking about, they don't have wide receivers. He's a sophomore quarterback. The running back's kind of unknown. He's going to have to do it all. We could be talking about a Heisman candidate after Saturday if things don't go well for the Buckeyes defensively. So, I don't know. I'm excited. The time for talking is almost over, and that's all I care about. I can't wait to get to Saturday night, Ohio State, Notre Dame. And again, that comes at 7:30. The kickoff, 6 o'clock coverage begins. Kev Nash and I will be coming at you live throughout the Ohio State pregame show with Paul Keel, Skip Mossick, and the gang. Of course, Kev Nash and I will be live out at Submarine House in Kettering. We'll be coming on live throughout the pregame, getting you set for Ohio State to Notre Dame, and hopefully talking with a lot of you listeners who will be coming out to hang out with us for a bit. at that. Shaw said he's coming, by the way.
Really?
Big Buckeye. I think he's secretly a Buckeye fan. I think he pretends.
He's gonna watch the game?
He's gonna pretend. What?
He's gonna watch the game?
I think he'll watch this one. He'll watch this one. But no. And by the way, I am not I'm not being negative about the Buckeyes defense. I think it's fair to always look at what, the potential pitfalls. Think about it. I mean, you can't just bring in, I know defense, it's easier to bring in a guy to fix things than it is offensively. In fact, we have a lot of different angles to look at this. You look at, obviously, Lincoln Riley going over to USC. Lincoln Riley is, well, let me ask you this. Is Lincoln, who will have a bigger impact on their new respective? Jim Knowles, will he have a bigger impact on the Buckeyes defense, or will Lincoln Riley have a bigger impact on the offense of USC? Who will have a bigger impact? I know one's a head coach and one's a defensive coordinator, but the head coach,
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. And it's because
well, it's not only because he's there, because he's brought in a lot of people with him too. Talent fixes a lot of things. Now you got, Caleb Williams coming in there. You got a couple of receivers coming in there. You got a running back coming in there. You got an offensive lineman coming in there. They're going to be able to put up some points and everything like that out there at USC. But I don't think that's going to be their biggest problem. The biggest problem going to be stopping somebody out there. And I think that they'll put up a ton of points. But I think what Jim Knowles is going to be able to do is bring those points per game down and be able to slow that run defense down to stop just basically getting pounded to death. I know people overlook a lot of other games that we struggled in defensively, like the Minnesota game, like the Nebraska game as well. They ran the ball on us pretty good too. I know people hark on the Michigan and the Utah game and the Oregon game, but it was other games out there where, dudes were just popping runs, popping 30, 40-yard runs a clip. And it's just like, dude, what is going on? So got to stop that run game, man. You got to stop them on the ground.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Mr. John Ortez says you're going to be surprised. Count on it. And I hope I do want to count on it. I want Ohio State's defense to be dominant, but I also think it's fair to maybe sit and be just a little curious and be a little realistic about, okay, what's a fair expectation for what Jim Knowles can bring to the table defensively in just the limited amount of time that he's had to work with this defense. So I do like that element of this Saturday. It's the unknown. You know what? I'm glad that they're not opening up with a clean puff opponent. I'm glad that it's right away. You know what I mean? Like against Notre Dame, it's just put up or shut up. And again, it's not an indictment of who the Buckeyes will be all season, but it is an opportunity. I kind of like that we're going to know right off the bat, because sometimes, like, let's say you had a schedule like for Michigan's schedule, for instance. No, I'm not trying to get in the back and forth with them again.
Sure you are.
But imagine if the Buckeyes had Michigan's schedule and it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to wait months before we find out if anything that we've really been working on has improved. We're going to know right off the bat where they still need to improve and how much they've improved from one season to the next. All right, we'll step away. Hour number 2 coming up. If you missed that interview with former Buckeye Bobby Carpenter, we'll have that up on our YouTube channel coming up immediately following the show. Head to ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel, like and subscribe to be a part of everything that we put up there. Shows in their entirety, as well as select segments and all interviews. Go and check that out. Hour 2 coming up next.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day,
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-509-3124. That's 800-509-3124. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-509-3124 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
When a nasty cold keeps you up all night, Vicks NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief from your worst cold and flu symptoms, which changes a night that sounds like this into a night that sounds more like this. Ah, that's better. NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, sore throat, stuffy head, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold, medicine. Use as directed.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
It's time again for A. Brown & Sons Nursery's annual stock reduction auction of high-quality nursery stock. Save hundreds to thousands of dollars. The auction starts promptly at 7:19 a.m. on Saturday, September 10th. If you don't have time to come out in the morning, come out in the afternoon. 3 auction rings run all day long. Brown's has shade trees, shrubs, evergreens, ornamentals, and perennials up for auction. Tell your friends and neighbors. Brown's Nursery is located just a half mile north of Phillipsburg, Ohio, on State Route 49, just 4 miles north of I-70, exit 24. Make plans now to fill your entire landscaping needs at huge savings that can't be matched anywhere else. Visit brownsnursery.com and click on the auction link at the top of the homepage for all the details. Plan to attend the annual stock reduction auction at Brown's Nursery promptly at 7:19 a.m. on Saturday, September 10th. Rain or shine, delivery will be available. Details online at brownsnursery.com.
Grammy Award-winning bassist Oteil Burbridge has gathered an incredible cast of friends and musicians to join him for the not-to-be-missed Jam Band Concert of the Year, featuring Melvin Seals, Steve Kimmick, Eric Krasno, and Johnny Kimmick. Oteil and friends will perform a set seeped in the spirit of the Grateful Dead, the Allman Brothers Band, and more at Rose Music Center at the Heights on September 8th. Tickets starting at only $23.50 are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. Don't miss Oteil and friends live at the Rose on September 8th.
Large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/delivering.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy inherited properties, vacant homes, rentals, commercial properties, and apartment buildings. Give us a call today and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 877-25-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 877-25-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 877-25-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building fast and easy. Call 877-25-STEEL. That's 877-257-8335. 877-25-STEEL.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So here's the deal. We're pretty much almost done talking all baseball, right? Like, I think baseball's kind of like we're putting that behind it, unless you're a Guardians fan like, oh, Kev over here.
Why are we not talking baseball?
Do people want to talk baseball?
I mean, I want to talk about my team.
So I don't know how much more Reds I have left in me, to be quite honest with you, but I do know that they have another month of baseball left, if you count what they've been doing this year as baseball. But so, you know, it's interesting. This is how I've realized how sad this Reds organization is. And this is how sad I realized that the relationship between the Reds fans and Joey Votto is. I'm watching a true legend. I am watching one of the best of all time. I am watching a legitimate future Hall of Famer, a great first baseman. And it's not him, it's Albert Pujols. What Albert Pujols is doing right now is something that I think that even if you are a diehard Reds fan who cannot even stomach rooting for the Cardinals, I don't know how you can't be a fan of this story. You know, I don't know. I hear all the time people say, oh, the baseball gods, the baseball gods. I always roll my eyes at that. I'm like, who are you, Jim Harbaugh, with all this religious talk? I mean, come on now. But there is something weird about baseball sometimes. Baseball has a weird habit, you know, and it's not just baseball, it's sports in general. Let's be clear. Sports in general has a weird habit of these nostalgic things that just seem to take over, these nostalgic happenings that don't make sense. Albert Pujols, if you would have told me that he would go on this home run tear that he has here in the month of August, heading into the final month of his career, chasing home run number 700, I didn't think he'd even get close to it. Now it's going to be to the point to where he may fall one short of it and have to decide if he wants to come back for another year. And my God, I hope he does. He deserves it, because Albert Pujols, and I have to look, where's Cabrera at right now? I need to look. I mean, this may be the last home run chase of any significance in the history of the game moving forward. I know that sounds like a very hot take, but the sport has drastically changed so much. For all of you do-gooders out there when it comes to sports, you can't shorten the season because that'll ruin the records. Baseball in 162 games has found ways to ruin those records. For one, guys aren't playing as long. Two, guys are being switched out of a lineup every other day. Guys, double switches, the David Bells of the world. I mean, my goodness, it's insane. Like, we are never enjoy what you're watching with Albert Pujols right now. It is something unique. It is something special. And the nostalgia of it, Kev, this reminds me of when I was a kid, when I had teachers that loved baseball so much that in significant home run or record pursuits, we would stop class so the teacher could put the game up. I'll never forget Barry Bonds. Every time Barry Bonds was up at bat, I had a teacher named Mr. Pritchard back when I was in sixth grade. And Barry Bonds is chasing this home run record. And this teacher at the time is my favorite because I love sports. He loves sports. And that's how I connected with this guy. But he stopped class. And this is sixth grade. I don't remember one thing about sixth grade, except there were just certain days that he would stop class because Barry Bonds was up to bat. You know what I mean? That's insane. And I remember how significant and how special those moments were. And all the time. And, every time growing up too, you're watching his significant at-bats. And games will stop, and all ESPN programming will stop, and they'll zoom in to that particular game to watch those at-bats. After this Albert Pujols ordeal, when's the next time anything of significance is going to mean anything in baseball? Records don't matter. Wins for pitchers, Justin Verlander, it doesn't matter. He, as great as he is, he's great. And look how far into his 40s he has to pitch to even be relevant still. So that's not a shot at him. That's just baseball right now. Pitching records don't matter. Guys aren't going to get enough innings to even come close to getting enough strikeouts, to get enough innings, enough win opportunities. They're being pulled in the fourth inning and fifth inning because, can't go third time through the order now. Those are gone. Guys aren't getting the same at-bats as they used to because of, double switches and, you know what I mean? More off days, changing the lineup every single day because of advanced analytics. So Albert Pujols, I don't look at him as a Cardinals player. I look at him as the last of a generation, a last of one of a kind, because baseball will no longer be the same after Albert Pujols because there is no more significant records being chased. It just, while we're enamored because Votto went how many days in a row without popping out in the infield, we're watching a real first baseman over here who's still playing at a high level in his 40s. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to be a Reds fan because the things we've been conditioned to cheer and be happy about. Oh, Joey Votto's going to be in the broadcast booth tonight. Could you believe Joey Votto? Is there anyone like Joey Votto? You mean, really? That's what from the city that fell in love with guys like Joe Morgan and Pete Rose and Johnny Bench. We have a guy that has not been relevant as far as contributing to this team and how long, and we're drooling over the guy. I'm not saying you have to hate on Joey Votto, but look what Albert Pujols is doing. Don't tell me that Joey Votto is too old to be doing anything of significance in the league when I'm watching Albert Pujols chase down number 700 record 700 home runs when he has no business at his age playing baseball right now. So tip of my cap to Albert Pujols. I'm mad that I can't make it to Great American Ballpark tonight because I wanted a chance to watch him one more time. But he is the last of of my generation of players I grew up watching that made me fall in love with the sport. And there's no one in baseball like that right now. And I don't want to hear about the cheating allegation. Who cares? I don't care. If he did, then so be it. More power to him. More power to, because all the guys that cheated did more for the sport than the guys who are clean right now, who really are not making the sport any more fun to me outside of Shohei Ohtani.
He's what, 7-6 somewhere to 700.
Miguel's at 506 home runs. Thanks, Shaw. He's not going to do.
No. I'm talking about Pujols. He's what? How many more do you need for 700?
I think he needs 7 more.
Okay. So for Pujols, if he doesn't get it this year, I think it's obvious he's going to come back next year. To get to 700 home runs, that'll put him fourth, third, somewhere around there. That's a tremendous accomplishment. And for baseball, a sport that is so predicated on the numbers, He needs 6 more, 694. Okay. So it's a sport predicated on the numbers. It's a sport where we don't bash you if you don't have a World Series ring. We look at your stats and look what you were able to accomplish as an individual. It's one of those rare sports where it's a team sport, but it's really all about what you do as an individual. So that's fine. But another reason we won't see a lot of these things in baseball and in football and basketball for that matter is the way we consume sports is totally different. You're talking about when your teacher would wheel in the TV and say, hey, we got to watch this at bat. Well, nowadays we can watch that at bat whenever, however, on this little thing called a cell phone, aka a mini computer. So us tuning in You talk about that. I talk about, like, okay, when the big home run chase was going down with McGuire and everything like that. That's what I remember about baseball growing up. So we would tune into these events because this event watch TV. I look at it like this. Once LeBron is the #1 all-time leading scorer in the NBA, probably sometime in the middle of this season or late in the season, that's another record that will never be touched again, because of the way we have basketball with tanking, with guys resting and everything like that. Those are records that are never going to be broken. Steph's Curry record of 3-pointers probably won't be broken, even though they shoot threes at a high clip. The amount, you have to obviously hit them, but you have to play enough games to do so.
But that sport is suited for that record to be broken.
Right. It's possible,
Yes.
but
Okay.
I don't think it'll happen. And then we take a look at Emmitt Smith's all-time rushing record. I was a kid when that happened, when he broke Walter Payton's record. Can you think of a current running back that's going to be a Hall of Famer?
Derrick Henry. But
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, maybe Derrick Henry.
Nick Chubb, baby. No, but you're right. Like, because the running back, the shelf life for running backs. I mean, Adrian Peterson, who's no longer active, but semi close to me, was recently, I guess. But you're right. Like, even the shelf life of running backs at their peak is what, 4 years?
Yeah.
There's a reason that, like, I mean, look at Zeke. Zeke had a 3-4 year stretch where he was unbelievable, and then now it's believable. It's just, and I'm a Cowboys fan. But remember, I was a Cowboys fan. I'm a huge Buckeye fan. I loved when those two united, and I was against my team giving Zeke top dollars because the running back shelf life in the NFL is not what it used to be. They just fall off a cliff a lot sooner now. So, I'm with you. Like, it's just, the greatness at that position is not, that's why teams don't value it as much, unless you're a team that doesn't have a great quarterback that has to put the value in the running back.
Yeah. And so we look at all these records and all these great things that athletes do. And this guy is about to hit 700 home runs. 700 home runs, dude. And some people poo-poo it. Some people say it's not a big deal.
Oh, this is a huge deal.
This is huge. This is like you said, this might be the last time baseball is celebrated like this, because the lack of playing, the lack of pitching going through the order, the guys trying to hit home runs as opposed to just swinging the bat and everything like that. I played golf for the first time over the weekend. I was absolutely horrible. One of the pointers that I got from my father-in-law is, you're trying to smash the ball, just hit the ball. So it's a lot of these small nuanced things that go into baseball that people just aren't going to get anymore. It's just going to go the way of the dodo bird. It's just not going to be there anymore. And these records like this need to be celebrated, because we ain't going to see them. Yep. Your kids, my kids, our grandkids, they ain't going to see nobody hit 700 home runs. Like, I've literally seen his entire career. We've seen from home run 1 to potentially 700. I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think somebody's going to get to 700.
No, it's, and like I said, that's why I'm so frustrated when it comes to the perception of Joey Votto. And you can like Joey Votto and cheer Joey Votto, but he is not a baseball all-time great. He may be a Reds all-time great, but he is not a baseball all-time great. What we are watching right now with Albert Pujols, this is baseball all-time greatness. There will be other Joey Vottos. There will not be another Albert Pujols. And that's my frustration with who we are as Reds fans and what we value. Well, I see Reds fans on Twitter just ripping Albert Pujols, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is the problem I have with the Reds fans, is because I think, although we rely on the history of what Reds baseball used to be, we've dumbed it down as far as what baseball really is all about. So that's my frustration. But here we are with Albert Pujols, to put into perspective kind of where he's at right now. I mean, he's 2 away from tying Alex Rodriguez for 4th all time. All right. And he's 3 away from moving up to 4th all time on this list. And then after that, he's 20 away from tying Babe Ruth and 21 away from surpassing Babe Ruth. I think Albert Pujols, I hope he comes back another year. I know this is his final season. He's even come out and said, if he's 1 short, he's not coming back another year. But if I'm the Cardinal, that's a good cap, no cap.
If I'm
the Cardinals, if I'm any team out there, I'm physically making you come back, because again, can you imagine? I don't care if the only 3 players that hit more home runs than Albert Pujols are Babe Ruth, Henry Aaron, and Barry Bonds, if Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, and Babe Ruth are the only 3 players to hit more home runs than Albert Pujols, then good for you. If he comes back and surpasses Babe Ruth next year, and the only 2 players that hit more home runs than Albert Pujols are Hank Aaron and Barry Bonds, good for him. But this is good stuff. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I'm mad that I can't go tonight. Like, I was really trying to convince the wifey to let me go, but that wasn't going to happen. But nonetheless, I'm Reds 518-1410. Reds fans, do you find yourself hating on Albert Pujols just because of the rivalry with the Cardinals, or are you sitting back and enjoying this, especially with everything we just discussed? This is not your typical just hot stretch, right? It's the significance of what the hot stretch is getting him to, and that is, this record that is so significant. And
got
again,
a month and a half, right?
A month and less than that. I mean, just the exact month he has left. I mean, tomorrow's September already.
Oh,
yeah. Like that's kind of crazy. And what fascinates me even more is we go back in 2012, Walt Jocketty, part of the Reds front office, it's interesting because there was that report that had come out that the Reds were heavily pursuing Albert Pujols when he hit free agency, and I found that, fascinating. So when you think about Albert Pujols after he left the Cardinals, 12 years with the Cardinals, do you realize that he spent 2 less years with the Angels than he did with the Cardinals? That is kind of fascinating, if you ask me. Yeah. But the thing that's most fascinating to me, Kev, is you look at the home runs that were hit with the Cardinals. Obviously, he did the majority of the damage with the Cardinals. 466 of the home runs that he has hit came with the Cardinals. 222 of those home runs came with the Angels. 12 of them came with the Dodgers. So, and then he's back with the Cardinals and continuing to add to that home run total. But that's what I just find most fascinating about everything that he's doing. And again, Reds fans, 518-1410. You look at Albert Pujols. Are you able to separate the rivalry and just enjoy what you're witnessing? Because what you're witnessing is the last of your lifetime. You will never witness something like this again when it comes to baseball. For those of you who grew up, and I'm in my early 30s. Okay, I'm not saying I witnessed a lot of great things in baseball, but I did witness Barry Bonds. I did witness Alex Rodriguez, and obviously with this Albert Pujols thing, a little of Hank Aaron, not really, but you know what I mean. Like, that's what I'm just trying to say is at the end of the day, it's one of those things that I feel like we're watching something for the last time. This will be the last significant record chase in Major League Baseball in a sport that they, all of their accolades are surrounded by what the records. You're right. And it drives me nuts about baseball. We don't hold the lack of championships against star players like we do in other sports. LeBron, statistically, size-wise, we're not getting into it, the best of all time. But what do? We hold baseball. If this was baseball, LeBron would be a god. In basketball, he's lost finals. He's not that great in the finals. Some of these a-holes can't even get to the finals. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how baseball, they don't care about your playoff success. They don't care whether you've won a World Series or not. Barry Bonds, if it wasn't for the juice, would be the best of all time, right? As far as perception goes, who cares that the dude never, in fact, he got to a World Series and he lost. If it's basketball, my goodness, we should have kicked him out of baseball, right? That's just how it works. So it is what it is. But 518-1410, Kev, who we start with?
We got Shaw line too.
What up, Shaw? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, bud?
Another day in paradise. What you got for us?
I love Ken Griffey Jr. swing, but Albert Pujols was the best pure hitter I ever saw with my own eyes. I'm 40 years old. That encompasses a lot of players. It encompasses a lot of time. Albert Pujols, the stuff that he did in the box, games that he changed. I think of that division series against the Astros back when they were in the National League, and it was the 10th inning, and he hit that bomb off the train to win that series. I don't understand. I never have understood the hatred for Albert around here.
Oh, I get it. Look, he's the best. Not now. He was the face of one of your most hated rivals. I get why the hatred's there, but I think that sometimes you could put that hatred aside if there's history being made. And like Albert's not even one of the most feared players on the Cardinals when the Reds face them now. So that's why I also laugh at that. You know what I mean? If he was still the face of the Cardinals as far as the best player, I get it. But like, that's why I'm just like, this is just, to me, it's petty. We're cheering a first baseman who is toughing out a broadcast booth appearance tonight. But we're not going to sit here and respect a guy who is literally doing something that we'll never see again.
Right. And that's what I was going to it was one of the things of where I understood the hatred because of the Reds and the Cardinals, and I got all that. And he was, I mean, look at how many home runs as a Cardinal he hit against the Reds and just single-handedly at GABP. That'll make you sick as a Reds fan. So that aspect of it, I understand. But on the other hand, the flip side of the coin, I love greatness. Yes, Tom went to Michigan, but that's not why I like Tom. I like Tom because of how great he is. I like Albert, but he went to and stuff like that. But
how you like Tom Brady's new hairdo?
It's atrocious. I think his wife got him into that, but that's not whatever.
He's looking weird in the face, man.
Yeah, I wonder what he was doing while he was out.
Very tight, as Tuco would say. You don't know what he's doing with his face.
Surgery, my friend.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes, but the pictures prove the words, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. He looks weird to me. I don't know. It's just weird. But Albert, I agree with you. And me and my buddy were just literally talking about this past weekend, and it was about Albert because to me, I'm a baseball guy. Yes, I love football and everything, but I'm baseball first. It's not even just Albert. When's the next 300 pit for a pitcher? When's the next 300
That's
winner
not
we're going to have?
That's not happening.
And that was the conversation we were having. It was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think 3,000 hits is going to ever happen again. I don't think another one that I think isn't going to ever happen. Look at the consecutive games hit streak that Pete Rose was going after for a long time. I don't think that one will ever get even. I don't even think we'll even get close to it. Because what you said earlier, too many guys sub out now, and there's too many double switches, and guys don't play every day anymore. And I don't think we're even going to. There's just so many things in baseball for the baseball purist. And I understand, like, you and I don't see eye to eye all of the time on baseball and stuff like that, but like, that's the aspect of the game that makes me upset about it, because it has changed so much for somebody like me to where sometimes it really is hard and frustrating to watch. But I'm loving everything about Albert right now. I'm with you. I wish I could get down there tonight. There's just no way I could. I'm hoping he comes back. So next year, I'm definitely going to try to go down there at least a couple times when the Cardinals come to town, because I'm hoping he comes back. Maybe he does maybe he does go to 700 or 720 or whatever down there at GABP. So, but not going to waste any more of your time, guys. And thanks, and I'll see you Saturday.
Hey, real quick, what do you think about Harbaugh's two quarterbacks? No, Shaw, thanks for the good call. Thanks for the good call for once. And I did drop the call, but no, Shaw, thanks for the call. I agree. We don't see it on a lot of stuff. So, John Harvey, he says I disagree on your take on Votto. He is an all-time great, not just a Reds great. He's got the nerdy sabermetric stats. His numbers aren't eye-popping, but he's an all-time great overall. He's not an all-time great. He's not an all-time. He's an all-time Reds great. That's super wonderful. The bar has been very low for 20 years now in Great American Ballpark, or in Cincinnati, I should say, at least. I respectfully disagree.
All-time great?
He's not an all-time great.
I mean, I don't think he's in the same category as Albert Pujols. I mean, when you talk about all-time greats,
he's an all-time great.
I'm not thinking about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's cool because, I mean, he played for the Dragons. He played for the Reds. Like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Like, man, I saw him play down the street, and now seeing him play down to Cincinnati. Man, that's cool. Like, yeah, he's going to be a great Cincinnati Reds player. He probably make the Hall of Fame and everything like that. But all-time great, when you talking about all-time great, man, you talking about Derek Jeter, dude. You talking about, like, some big dogs out here that not only got the stats, but they got the the jewelry to back it up. You know what I'm saying? Pujols got like 3 MVPs, like 2 World Series. And the crazy thing about it, if I'm not mistaken, the baseball people out there can correct me if I'm wrong. The last time the Cardinals won the World Series, he was a free agent, and that's when he left to go to Anaheim, right? To the Angels, right?
And they've won since then. They won it.
No, I'm just saying, like, his last year with
Yeah.
them prior to him leaving.
Yeah.
So, like, man, like an organization willing to basically let their best player walk, that's crazy. And then it all circles back. He's back them about to hit 700. It's awesome.
It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash. 518-1410. Is Joey Votto an all-time great? Not an all-time great Red, an all-time great first base? I say no way. Some disagree. Let's talk. 518-1410.
With their incredible selection, expert guides, and totally low prices, you'll always love what you find at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use law enforcement siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention, like telling you if you get a speeding ticket, it doesn't end there. You have to pay expensive fines. You can't go to your friend's wedding because that also costs money. And your insurance rates could increase. See, we didn't have to use law enforcement sirens after all. Getting a speeding ticket has consequences. Sooner or later, speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Cars and parts, swap meet and car show, bring the family.
Hot rods, muscle cars, classics. You've got to see Cars and Parts Giant Swap Meeting Car Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Great family fun. Bargains on everything automotive, from rare old parts to racing collectibles. You got to be there this weekend at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Call 937-376-0111 for details.
Cars and parts, swap meet and car show, bring the family.
Update your home with Cedar Creek Vinyl Siding at Menards. Cedar Creek Siding is a beautiful and low-maintenance vinyl siding that features a rustic wood grain texture. It's available in double 4-inch or double 4-inch Dutch lap and in 16 color options. All Cedar Creek Vinyl Siding is 11% off. Good through September 5th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Everyday values are at only one place, Frickers. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday is all about that steak. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Frickers, where kids 10 and under eat free every day. Remember draft beer specials, everyday values, and kids eat free every day. The home for money-saving value is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
When will the danger become crystal clear? When you read another statistic? When it happens to your neighbor? When your family is shattered? When will you finally take action? Don't let another family's life fall to pieces due to the dangers of unsafe railroad crossings. Report bad railroad crossings at angelsontrack.org. That's angelsontrack.org. Because bad crossings kill good drivers. Sponsored by Angels on Track, aired by OAB and the station.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving overseas? The Department of Veterans Affairs has recognized and is providing benefits to veterans who suffer with asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of burn pit exposure. If you served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations or Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Syria, or Djibouti, and suffer from any respiratory illnesses that you believe is a result of exposure to burn pits, contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Visit Cincinnati and see for yourself why the Queen City is the birthplace of professional baseball. Catch a Reds game at Great American Ballpark and be sure to explore the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum presented by Dinsmore. Thanks to the HCS Foundation, kids 12 and younger receive free admission into the Hall of Fame, where the whole family can enjoy interactive exhibits and thousands of artifacts from over 150 years of Reds baseball. For details and tickets, visit Reds.com.
Need to hire? Find great people fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples one-subject notebooks are just 35 cents each. Plus, during the backpack clearance event, you'll save up to 50% on select backpacks, lunch bags, and water bottles. Staples, this year we're not going back. We're going forward to school. In-store only, ends 9/3, limit 30 on notebooks.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Former Ohio State Buckeye Bobby Carpenter joined us in the first hour. If you missed that interview, we'll have that for you coming up here in the 5 o'clock hour. Buckeyes, Notre Dame kick off the 2022 season coming up later this week. We've done a lot at you today. One of the big questions we asked earlier, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Jim Knowles' addition to as the defensive coordinator, how much of a realistic impact can we expect? And I don't think it's just fair to say for the season, but I mean right away, week 1. You know, this isn't Michigan where you're opening up with 55 cream puffs to open up the season. I mean, it's Notre Dame. There is no build-up to this Notre Dame game. It's either you have it or you don't. Yes, I know Notre Dame has this this starting quarterback that was a true freshman last year that was the backup. He came in for sparring plays, but he was second. You know, Notre Dame, he was second for Notre Dame in total yards rushing last year. The quarterback was, and he played sparing minutes. He rushed for more yards than he threw as the backup quarterback last year. So, clearly, this kid can make plays with his legs. We could talk about Ohio State stopping just the run as far as your just generic run game, as far as just the quarterback handing it off to the running back. But what about a mobile quarterback? That's an element we haven't talked about. You know, we talked about the different scheme that Jim Knowles has implemented. How many games and that's why Bobby Carpenter said it's kind of tough to really see how much improved this defense is because it's just them going up against one another, which, by the way, we don't talk about the offense that they go up against. I can't think of a better offense to go up against. You go up against C.J. Stroud and those cats every day. You're going to be you're going to be thinking you're playing JV teams for the rest of the year after going up against C.J. Stroud and company every single day. So at least that offense is going to prepare them. Look, I'm not saying that they're going to be as bad as last year. I'm not even saying that they're going to be bad. All I'm questioning is how realistic is it to sit back and expect Ohio State to take that next step forward as far as grabbing Jim Knowles, implementing his new scheme, and all of a sudden everything just falls right into place. I hope that's the case. Kev's confident that that's the case. We'll see what ends up happening. But 518-1410, we'll get back into our Reds conversation in a moment. But Kev, who we got?
Tennessee Jeff online.
Which line? This is
3.
On line 3. Tennessee Jeff, how are you, sir?
It's not. This is Steve.
Tennessee Jeff, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you, man?
Not too bad. I hear that you're calling from practice. Are my sources correct?
I'm on 315 South, headed to 70, headed back.
I love the detailed. I love the information. So what did you see? What's going on, man? I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great.
You can tell it's game week. You have that tone in your voice. It's game. I could tell. I could feel it.
So a couple things. Remember when Hafley was our DC for 1 year? And then he left for Boston College, Jeff Hafley. And I was out. Long story short, I was talking to, I hope he's doing okay, Damon Arnett Jr. out at the Woody, and he was waiting for an Uber or something. I was talking to him. He said, listen, man, he said, just remember that we had the same defense last year that we have this year, and it wasn't that good of a defense. And they talked Damon into staying one more year, and we had Okuda those were our corners. Those were the best duo corners we've had in a minute, right? Since gambling, anyhow. So he said, just watch the difference. It's scheme. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what they were running, but I talked to Joshua Perry last night, and he said this. He said, to answer your question, I'm 100% confident that you're going to see this team play Saturday night and the entire season at a level you haven't seen this defense play in a long, long time, because we've got the horses to do it. We got 2 great corners. We got a great safety. We got Our D-line is incredible. The only thing that concerned me for Saturday night is this. Their quarterback's got wheels. He's okay, I guess. And I'm not downplaying. I mean, the guy can ball and he can run. Here we have to stop number 87, their tight end Mayer, because if we don't, and so I was talking to Quinn Barton, one of our strength coaches, an hour. I said, listen, who's going to be on? I'm just curious. Who you got? Mitchell? Because Eichenberg can't. I don't think Eichenberg can stay with this guy. Maybe the converted running. What's his name? The converted running back.
Transfer from Arizona State.
That's right. So either maybe him or maybe Hickman. But he's a first rounder, and he's a ball. This guy can flat out play, and he can catch, and he can run. His yak yards are stupid. So Mayer, the tight end, concerns me. They don't have anything on the outside. Their number one receiver is out for the season. This will not only be a victory. I'm going to tell you now, but I'm going to call Friday as well. We're going to beat this team by 4 touchdowns. We're going to jump on them fast and early. The crowd. This will equal the 2016 crowd noise, level of noise against a double overtime game against the team up north. That's how loud this place will be Saturday night. I guarantee it. So with the defense, with the offense is ridiculous. I just saw Mayan Williams can start for, I'd say, 120 college football teams in the country, FBS. He's that good. He slimmed down. I think he told me he lost 18 pounds, and he just shredded. So and he can move. Trevion Henderson, and as long as number 7 stays upright, as long as C.J. Stroud stays upright, and we don't lose anybody huge, we will not lose and even come close. Game that we're supposed to drub a team that we won't. It's that good. Like you know how they, and I'll get off after this. You know how they say, well, Ohio State's the only team that can slow down Bama and stop Bama from winning a title. They shouldn't be saying that, bro. They should be saying, you know what? The only team that can stop or slow down Ohio State is Alabama. We are the best team in college football from A to Z. I'm telling you, we are. That's why ESPN's there right now. I don't even like you. I said, you guys sure love Alabama, but go watch this practice. They're loaded, guys. and Ryan Day knows. Ryan Day knows this is his best shot to win it. He knows, man. I can see it in his eye. He knows this is the best chance because next year we got at Notre Dame and at up there. You know what I mean? So I guarantee. Nothing's guaranteed, right? I don't see us losing the game. I think we're going to win the national championship this year. I don't think it's going to be close. We'll be the number 1 seed after we beat Bama. I don't even care what we are next week if we're 1 or 2 because they play Utah State, Alabama. They'll lose. I think A&M will beat them. We're not losing. We're going to go from bell to bell. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I'm stoked, as you can tell, and I got really good seats Saturday night. I'm so close to the field, I'll be able to hear Trevion Henderson fart in the huddle. I'm that close to the field Saturday night. So it's going to be a great night.
Attaboy. Hey, great hearing from you as always. Ohio State season's here. We can always tell. We can hear the passion in your voice, my friend. Take care.
2022, baby. Go Bucks.
518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. But there you go. That dude right there. I don't care how many of the dudes out there like to paint their face and be all weird and charge people to take pictures and stuff. That dude right there is the biggest Buckeye fan I know.
Facts.
Not even close. Andy, sorry, Big Ten commissioner. You don't even come close. This dude literally, he goes to every game possible.
And practice.
He said on Facebook he is now single because he picked Ohio State football over a woman.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Ultimate fan.
Over a woman?
His relationship ended. He put it on Facebook because he picked Ohio State football. I'm sure he appreciates me putting his personal life out
complicated.
there, but so Adam on Facebook says the last caller, that's Tennessee Jeff. Put some respect on his name, Adam. No, but Adam says last call. I don't know why it's Tennessee Jeff. Have we figured out? Is he from Tennessee?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Interesting. Last caller wants me to bet huge on the over now for Saturday night. He's convincing. He's more convincing than me and Kev. That's for damn sure.
That's for sure.
And Kev's more confident than I am. I flip-flop, so don't listen to me. But nonetheless, yes, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Saturday night, 7:30 the kickoff, 6 o'clock pregame coverage begins right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Of course, Kev Nash and I will be live at the Submarine House in Kettering. 9:30 East Dorothy. So come on out and hang out with us starting at 6 o'clock. We got a bunch of cool prizes to give away, including an opportunity for you and a friend to register to win a golf outing with Keith Byers and I. So there's that. And unfortunately, I have to go, but the cool part is Keith Byers will be there. So you guys can talk to him. I'm there just to drive the cart around for KB, to take him from his ball from one spot to the next. That's basically what I'm there for. But nonetheless, a lot of cool things going on. So come on out and see Kevin and I. Kevin and I have never done a show together out on the road. So there you go.
Let's get it on. Oh, they got cornhole out there at Submarine House as well. Are you any good at cornhole?
Better at that than golf.
Uh-oh. I'm terrible at that, too.
I'm a good drinker, though.
There it is.
I mean, I think.
That's what really counts.
518-1410. Let's go. Is this David? David, is this you?
Oh, no, this is somebody else.
Oh,
this is Eric.
Well, since I have you here, who is this? Is this Eric?
Yeah, this is Eric in Dayton.
Eric, you are live on 1410 ESPN Radio with Kinner and Kev. What's up, man?
Oh, hey, how's it going, guys? It's very good. Hey, the whole reason I was calling was just a little clarification. I think the whole reason they call him Tennessee Jeff is there's a Grateful Dead song called Tennessee Jed.
So it has nothing to do. Okay, interesting. I don't think I've ever asked him. But you know him.
No, I don't know him, but as a casual listener, and putting two and two together, I'm thinking that's where we're going with that.
All right, so we got some theories going. Okay, all right, man. Well,
yes,
thank you.
Yes. Not a problem. Anytime. Hey, you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. We'll be 518. Let's see who we got here. Caller, what's up? What's your name?
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
Hey, you're on live. Don't cuss. I think this is Tennessee Jeff again. Am I correct?
It is. No, I don't cuss, man. I'm not. No, I will never curse on your station. Listen, Bo Bishop, when he had a show with who was Bo Bishop and Bo Bishop and Anthony Rothman.
Yep.
I had a cabin in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, right?
Okay.
And I called in one day. Hello, you there?
Yep.
Yeah, I had a show. I had a cabin down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. This is right a couple years before Urban got there. And I called, and I was jazzed up for the Michigan game. I called, and I was sick of hearing Tennessee volunteer talk. So I got on the radio, and Bo Bishop, he said, "Dude, that was so jazzed up and joke. It's so good. Whatever. I don't charge for pictures. I don't pay my. I don't do none of that.
Exactly.
I just
That's
go,
why you're
man.
my favorite. You're legitimate. Like
So,
you don't do it
yeah,
for
so-
There you go.
So Bo Bishop today, it's a dude from Tennessee calling. I called back again like the following year, and he goes, "Hey, Tennessee Jeff." Bo Bishop gave me Bobby Carpenter. I don't know if you already interviewed him or what. I heard you say Bobby something, but I don't even know what the dude said. Tennessee. I don't even know who Tennessee Jed is. I like country music, not Grateful freaking Dead. But Bo Bishop named me that, and I just went with it, and that's just what it is. But yeah, get some other calls on there. It's going to be a great game, and love talk. Hey, I can hear. I'm in Hilliard Room, and I can hear you guys. Isn't that crazy? Like I can hear you guys. I can get you guys on my radio. My
We
car.
come in Hilliard, but we can't be picked up in Troy or Fairborn or anywhere. Unbelievable. This radio thing is so weird, but that's awesome, dude.
Hilliard Rome Road. I hear you guys talking. So that's the goofy name they gave me, and I just roll with it. But I'm Jeff, actually.
All right. Well, Tennessee Jeff.
Go Bucks, baby.
There you go. Take care, man. How the hell are we coming in over there?
Ooh.
We can barely come in our own city, and we're coming in all the way over there.
Must not be a lot of trees up that way.
It's on beautiful AM radio. Tennessee Jeff, man. Gotta love him. All right, folks. We'll be right back. 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention, like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
The NFL season is right around the corner, and with the season about to kick off, you can get in on all the action with DraftKings, the official